coming to you from the Beer to Whiskey Studios, high atop Barley's Tap Room on Main Street in downtown Greenville, South Carolina. I'm Russ Heaps, and welcome to this segment of Beer to Whiskey. This is one of our Big Jon and 5 segments where we get my buddy Big Jon Richards here, who is known far and wide in the upstate of South Carolina for knowing quite a bit about beer. If you have a question about that, check out one of the Beer 101 segments and you'll see what I'm talking about. But we get him to pick a beer and then we talk about it. But before we get into the beer, there's a little bit of sadly, there's some self-promotion here. And
we want them to like us, huh?
Yeah, what we're going to tell you to do is, if you like us, you see the little thumb up thing down at the bottom of the screen, click on that. And if you want to subscribe, which we hope you do, what do they do, John?
There's a subscribe button right below the screen as well. Big red button, in fact, typically.
And if you don't get that, at the end of the video, there's a round icon with the Beer to Whiskey thing in it. You can click on that. We give you plenty of opportunities, and let me tell you, every Thursday without fail at noon East Coast time, another new segment goes live. And having said that, John, what beers have you picked for us?
On to the meat.
Onto why we're here. Well, we're really here to drink beer.
Well, because drinking's fun.
It is.
Drinking's fun.
Day drinking's even better.
That's right. So Russ hasn't had this yet, and I'm waiting for him to just get all giddy.
Oh, my.
So what we have here
Holy moly.
is Ballast Point beer, and Ballast Point makes a beer called Victory at Sea. That's a vanilla porter, and that's one of Russ's favorites.
It's one of my favorites.
And this is a peanut butter Victory at Sea, and it's one of Russ's new favorites.
Oh man, there's a brewery, and another San Diego brewery called Belching Beaver, which in itself is, I guess, kind of funny. But they've got a peanut butter milk stout that I love. I've got a couple of bottles in my refrigerator. This is seriously good peanut butter beer right here.
And this is fun. Back years ago when I was homebrewing more actively than I am now, I found a recipe, just a random recipe for a peanut butter porter. I was like, oh, I have to make it. It was terrible. I did not do well. But in my brain, I knew well enough that peanut butter and chocolate in beer would go well together. And these guys hit the nail right on the head.
Holy cow. Well, I have to say, just like Belching Beaver's peanut butter beer, I don't know that I can drink more than a pint of this.
Sure.
Because it's big, it's rich, it's
10.5% alcohol.
And, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, even better. But this is outstanding.
Yeah, so, talking porter. Porter, as you know, is going to be that dark beer, but typically a little lighter bodied, easier, more accessible, less of the aggressive flavors and more just sort of hinting at them. When you start getting into anything imperial, however, anything imperial or double or pick a word that describes something large and then apply it to a beer. It just means you're getting a more aggressive,
more of everything,
more of the thing that you're getting. It used to mean that you were taking a recipe and doubling all the ingredients except for the water.
Yep.
That's not technically the case anymore, but it does mean you've taken a recipe and added more of it. So in this case, whereas a normal porter might be 6 or 7, maybe 7% alcohol. The regular Victory at Sea is 11, and this guy is 10.5. So, talking about a big, aggressive beer, lots of that real nutty peanut butter flavor, big chocolate, and then that vanilla sweetness in the back kind of makes it taste like, like a peanut butter and honey or peanut butter marshmallow sandwich when you get that sweetness in there with the peanut butter. Man, it just kills it.
This is outrageously good. My eyes may roll back in my head while we're sitting here.
Right.
If that happens, I'm not having an episode. It just means I'm really enjoying this.
A minor episode.
Is this a seasonal for them, or what? a one-off? Or is
This is
do you think?
currently, I believe, a one-off, but I would be surprised if this doesn't make it into some kind of regular rotation.
Man, they got to make more of this.
Yeah.
They've got to put these in bombers so I can bring it back.
Right.
So I can get it. I can go to San Diego and buy it and bring it back. Here's a hint.
Hey, hint.
When you travel, carry bubble wrap with you. I always do. So if I'm somewhere and I'm at a brewery and I find a bomber of something I really like, I can wrap it up, stick it in my suitcase, check it, and bring it on home. If that's against the law, come arrest me, because it's worth it. It is worth it. This is seriously good.
Yeah. And this is one of those examples where I look at the beer world and say, it's amazing what you can do with $1 billion.
Yeah, that's right, because
Ballast Point got bought out by Constellation Brands for $1 billion.
Yep.
To probably 2 or 3 years ago now. It's been some time now.
Yep.
They continue to make really, really wonderful beers.
And my intention is for Amazon or Netflix or somebody to buy this series out for $1 billion.
Yeah.
I think we're about this close.
Yeah.
We're inching up on it.
Definitely working that way.
John, this was a wonderful choice.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And I'm glad you didn't pick
It's going
this.
to make our afternoon better.
Yes, it is. and the evening as well, because
Right.
I'll sail right into that. This is really good stuff. So, okay, let's just talk a second about Ballast Point.
Yep.
We've done other Ballast Point beers, 2 or 3 of them, I think, so far, on these Big Jon and 5 things. But Ballast Point's a San Diego brewery, correct? And they've been bought up, but whoever bought them is leaving them alone.
Right, and that's what we hope for out of this acquisition fad. I'll call it a fad for right now. That the big guys are snatching up little breweries and then instead of trying to zap them with a laser and like a bug zapper almost.
Right.
They're acquiring these little breweries and letting them continue to operate just the way they always have, but with the support of the big guys behind them. And I'm at such a weird point in how I feel about it right now, because if you look at the rest of the world, and especially Europe, the best beers are the ones that are being brewed by the big guys. And your small, tiny little township breweries are brewing average beer at best.
Right.
And some of that's a product of, you have to or you don't have to. Some of that's a product of, like, I've watched some of the big breweries come in and then buy up all the supplies. And if you buy up all the supplies, then the little guys are left to buy the scraps and get strangled out. So I still look right up at the camera and say, hey, please go support your local breweries. Do your best. Some of them are absolutely doing their best and brewing some pretty quality stuff that they're not getting any credit for. The fact that Elysian got snatched up by Budweiser does not make me drink their beer or hold their beer in any less esteem.
Right.
It's just the fact that I will more often than not try to go out and buy beer from something that's brewed in Greenville or something that's brewed in North Carolina versus something that's brewed, somewhere else, especially if it's being brewed by one of the big guys.
To date, most of the breweries that are featured on Beer to Whiskey are mom and pop breweries. They are breweries that are still owned by single proprietors, a lot of them husband and wife teams, and they are making some great stuff. Having said that, you can't ignore really good beer. You just can't do it. This is really good beer. My God, I could sit.
Yeah.
This is almost as good a sex as I sort of remember sex. It's been a while, so I don't really. But every once in a while I think about it. But this is, my God, this is good beer.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Well, here's to it. Let's send these people on their way.
And from
Cheers to you.
Barley's Tap Room, see you next time.